Oh, there we go. Folks, how are you? This is Kurt Von Anen with Mañana no Mas. I used to call this the Mañana no Mas morning check-in. And folks, it is December 7th, 2022. It has been forever since I have signed in to do a Mañana no Mas morning check-in. You know, I went live almost every work day for over 2.5 years. And I shared what I thought were pearls of wisdom and things that was good and healthy for me to share in the process. But I also looked at, how can I be healthy for others to maybe glean some inspiration from or to, move forward with. And I'm just going to be transparent for a little bit. I looked at things and said, okay, well, did it bring me more customers? Did it bring me more revenue? Did it do this? Did it do that? And I thought, well, I'm kind of half spamming my people. I'm trying to talk to people every day. Maybe that's not the best. Maybe that's just not the best tool, right? And so I backed off a little bit, and I focused on things like publishing my book, Action Leadership from the Edge. If you haven't been to the actionleadershipteam.com yet to get a copy of your book, I encourage you to do so. But I published the book. I started WPE learning. So I went to WordPress. I went to the WordCamp. So WordCamp US in San Diego, which is a WordPress event. And I went to that and I met a ton of people in the industry and people that make plugins and movers and shakers that make WordPress kind of the community that it is. And I've worked with WordPress since 2004. I mean, even with all my automotive work and power sports work and all that, I was always kind of like this weird geek that liked websites. And so I'd worked with WordPress since about 2004, but I'd never joined the community. I'd always been like this guy that used the product and treated WordPress as a product rather than a community. And so, I kind of dove in and started going to like WordPress meetups and doing the WordCamp thing and trying to meet as many agencies as possible. And that was going really, really well enough that the folks at Lifter LMS asked me to kind of head up like an agency initiative for them, right? To try and help agencies find success with e-learning sites. So we started to go in this route. Now, what brings me to being on today and kind of starting this over again today? Well, a couple of things. One, this agency outreach and some of the networking I've been doing through LinkedIn has put me in touch with some business owners that have said things like, well, I'm looking to get on some podcasts, or I'm looking to this, or I'm looking to that. And I thought, well, I have a podcast. I haven't added to it in a while, but I have a podcast. And then, so that's in the back of my mind. Okay. Well, then Anchor sends the wrap up video, and they do it every year, to let you know how your podcast is doing. And I didn't put much into my podcast in 2022. For all the same reasons I didn't really, keep going with the daily YouTube videos. And it's interesting. My viewership, my listenership for the podcast went up 33% in 2022. So is it because, and I had to get introspective about this. What causes the listenership to go up? What causes my LinkedIn to grow by 300% over the last couple of years? What causes people to keep referring business to me in terms of business consulting and e-learning material? And as I started to go back through the old, I went to YouTube and I started looking at some of the old lives that I had done. And I was looking at the messaging. And the messaging was super consistent and still is, which I think is part of the magic. I kept saying, at the height of the pandemic, I was saying things like, regardless of your beliefs, let's try to focus on the silver lining on this cloud. Let's find the opportunity within the obstacles. When I published the book is about identifying your natural call to leadership and then accepting that natural call to leadership and taking action towards that calling. My concern is that a lot of people have a natural call to leadership and then they choose not to follow that calling, and it leaves a gap. And the universe doesn't like gaps in things. And so when the natural leader doesn't fill the role, An unnatural leader can fill the role. And then we have, a misalignment in society. We have people making decisions that shouldn't be making decisions. We have, entire swaths of our population like looking at each other and going, how is this possible? How is this happening? And we look to leadership and there is none. And I believe it's because it's all built on top of itself. And so even if your natural call to leadership is just to be a kick-ass parent, if you blow it and you don't accept that call, there's a gap, right? There's a void in that leadership role. And let's say you have a natural call to be, an elementary school teacher and to add value to children, but you choose not to follow that calling. Well, now somebody else is going to have to fill that spot that was naturally, you know, held for you. And so that's another unnatural fulfillment of leadership. And then it just progresses and progresses and progresses until the next thing you know, we're looking up the ladder and going, how did these people climb the ladder? Because they don't seem like a natural alignment for the needs of society. And I think that a lot of that stems from everybody just kind of not taking their role. So I looked at my messaging, I looked at the book, and I looked at my goals going into next year, and I thought, I better jump online and I better start communicating to people what I want and what I need and what my expectations are. Because if I don't communicate that to you, you don't know what they are. So here's the deal. I look at the successes of the public speaking and the things that I've done, doing leadership talks at the church, working with college age kids with a lot of things, and looking at like the talk I did in Las Vegas at the Brunswick Land and Sea Show. I was working with Marine Max there. They're one of the biggest marine retailers in the country. And I look at that and I go, I need more of that. My personality, my being gets expanded when I have that type of energy. And so I need to do more public speaking gigs. So I am very actively looking for more public speaking gigs. I want to do 2 to 3 of those a month for 2023. So I am completely available to you. What you need to do is say, hey, if there is a venue, if there is an event that you need a public speaker for, especially if it's based in leadership or growth or communication, folks, hit me up. I would love to have the opportunity to bid on your event. So like I said, I want 2 to 3 of those a month. The other side of my business is creating membership and learning websites for other organizations, whether it's a nonprofit, small business, a school, something like that. I have a lot of skills in this e-learning segment. And not only can I put things on a budget for you, but I'm also known as the Mañana no Mas guy. And the Mañana no Mas thing is I don't blow the budget and I don't miss deadlines. Like we talk about your project, we get very organized, we put the project into milestones. Those milestones have dates and deadlines. And if you miss the dates and the deadlines, obviously we have another discussion about, reasonable completion dates. But as long as you can supply the assets and the things needed for your project, Mañana no Mas will make things happen. We will get it done. And we don't blow the budget either. So I am looking for 4 or 5 projects a month to really get that going. Now, if you've got a big project, like you're a school, or let's say that you're an author with 10 books and 15 courses, and you want lead pages and all these things made, obviously maybe that's a project for that month or for 2 months. But hey, all about taking in new projects. So as 2023 comes, I just want to be super clear of what I'm available for. I love, love, love helping other organizations and companies get their learning product online. I think it's huge. And I said this over and over again during the pandemic. All these companies jumped online, jumped on TV. and they had commercials, we're taking everything online. And they told everybody, we're going to be working remote. We're going to take everything online. We're going to this, we're going to that. And now we're what, 3 years later, right? We're almost at 3 years now. And they say, do you want the job? Yeah. Are you going to work remote? Yeah. Okay. Well, the first step is to come to the home office and work with HR for a couple of days. Well, the first step to taking a remote position isn't hopping on an airplane and flying to the home office. The first step, you would think, would be to do the onboarding process virtually and organize everything you need through HR virtually, and then continue to work your remote job. And so I pride myself on being able to help companies, even with complex situations through HR. I'm able to get them to be able to onboard their people remotely, and it's been really rewarding to do that. That in combination with selling copies of the book and doing the public speaking is where I'm really focused for 2023. 2020, 2021, you heard a lot about the Power Sports Academy. And let me just be bold, let me be blunt. I did not turn off the Power Sport Academy. If you are listening to this message and you are a motorcycle dealership and you want, consulting on how to improve your parts and labor sales, and you want someone to work with you in regards to building your service department into something that it could be, you can still give me a call. Absolutely. And the program is still up. Like powersportacademy.com is still there. But I am not going to continue to put a lot of high energy into a people group that's just not ready for that level of training. So I reached out directly to a lot of power sport dealer owners. I reached out to power sport consultants. I reached out to other companies in the IT space with power sports, and we were all kind of running into the same roadblock, and that was that the dealer owners of these different power sports dealerships, brands, however you want to look at that, they just weren't in the market to invest in their people or to look at their business processes in a way that was focused on culture and growth at this time. It doesn't mean they'll never do it. Doesn't mean that they are not smart. I mean, they're smart people. It's just their focus, their priorities on something else other than what I'm offering right now. So I've got that sitting on the back burner. And like I said, if that's something you're interested in, by all means, reach out. Let's have a conversation. But for now, looking at 2023, I have doubled down on the public speaking, the book sales, and of course, helping companies with this learning content, and how to market that as you launch an online course or lessons or membership site. It's so cool, the different things that you can do. And the automations and the things that we can build into that for you. But I've got a WordPress managed host that I represent that I can get you some really good hosting and software packages through. And of course, I work directly with Lifter LMS, which is the learning management system of my choice. So I've got the tools, I've got the network, I've got the ability. Now's it's time to put it to work. Folks, have yourselves a great holiday season. Thanksgiving was kick butt at my place. I sure hope it was for you. And I hope that, Christmas, Hanukkah, all these other holidays, I hope that whatever your beliefs are, that you just enjoy the time, reset with family. And folks, as 2023 kicks off, I hope to be a part of it with you. Have yourself an awesome, fantastic